Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has begun. The second anniversary show has arrived, and I am here at a cemetery, a place of the dead. And this is kind of a different atmosphere for me because I've never done anything like this before. The second anniversary of the Main Event Talk begins. And now I get to reveal everything that I've been talking about in the last few Main Event Talks. So I'd like to welcome you all to this very special second anniversary show of the Main Event Talk. It's been 1 year since this whole, 2 years now, since this whole thing with the Main Event Talk has imploded. And I wanted to try something different. I wanted to try something that has never been done before in my show. And look where I'm at. I'm at a cemetery. I'm at a cemetery full of people that we've loved and respected. And there's even some that we hate and despise. Believe me, we've all gone through that. And tonight, or actually today to be exact, there's an individual I've been wanting to talk about on this show for a long, long time, and I've been wanting to call him out on this episode. So now I get the opportunity to finally put this to rest, so to speak. So, who is this individual? Who have I been talking about? Who is this guy that I practically want to bury on this episode of the Main Event Talk? You have to go back no further than July of this year. And I get an opportunity to not only mention who this guy is, and not only make him famous, but mention the people involved as well. I want to go back to further than July of this year, where I was at home watching Impact Wrestling. And I want to address this little part because I want to get an idea and kind of tell everybody about how this works and stuff. And I want to address this to not only this person, I only want to address it to the WrestleBuds, a group that's on Facebook, and a group that I have much respect for. But I have very little respect for one person. And you guys know who he is. Around July of 2013 of this year, I was watching Impact Wrestling, watching, everything that has been happening with a particular wrestler named AJ Styles, who would later move on and become World Heavyweight Champion. You guys know about that story. But before all of that took place, there's this guy who goes ahead and puts out a video, who is practically the founder of WrestleBuds, and he goes ahead, puts out a video, places it on his WrestleBuds group, and tells everybody that I am the main event, the one and only, and then mentions a hot scoop. Mentions a hot scoop about the fact that AJ Styles' look isn't getting him anywhere and it's not what the company needs, and then tells me to take that. Interesting. Tells me to take that. Hot scoop, huh? Let me tell you. You know what a hot scoop is? A hot scoop is Vince McMahon owning TNA Wrestling, which hasn't happened yet. A hot scoop is AJ Lee and CM Punk together, and where does Lita fit in this whole situation? That's a hot scoop. And let me tell you what another hot scoop is. Another hot scoop is Stephanie McMahon doing a porn with Chyna, and Triple H does a threesome with all three of them. And the video is exposed to everyone in the sports entertainment world, in the adult film world, and everything. That's a hot scoop, okay? But let's move on. Let me get into the interesting part. The next part that comes in is this part where he goes ahead. He's at a beach somewhere in Miami, Florida, right? He takes his camera, he puts it on himself, saying, hey, what's happening, guys? I am the main event, the one and the only, and blah, blah, blah. And then starts talking about calling me a curtain jerker and placing his phone in between his legs at the end of the show, or the end of the video. And that was a little bit funny to me. Why? Because he calls me a curtain jerker and he places his phone in between his legs. What the fuck does that tell you? Now, I didn't truly respond to those videos or anything else, but he kept attacking me in every way possible. This supposed main event guy. Or as I like to call him, the fake-ass main event. So I haven't responded. I hadn't said anything because I have a life of my own and I have things that I need to do with my life. And most of you guys know about my situation and everything on Facebook. So I don't feel a need to say anything back or respond in anything back. And that's when I felt the need to do the elimination process. I wanted to go ahead and eliminate this guy from my Facebook, but before I could do that, before it even happens, I wanted to go ahead and wait for this stupid motherfucker's next move. And it seems like every move that I make, or every move that he makes, he decides to go ahead and clown me and me not say anything. Well, I waited long enough, so I'm watching an episode of SmackDown, and here he comes. He reappears before me on Facebook. Well, he reappears before me on WrestleBuds instead of appearing on Facebook, so that kind of tells you what kind of balls this guy really has. And goes ahead and starts saying, oh, I wonder what kind of news firm is going to give out next. And then I reappeared and I started calling your ass out. I started talking about how you punked me out on all these videos and how you say that you're the one and only main event and how you practically disrespected me in front of everybody else. And all these other guys, all these other people in WrestleBuds and who are true wrestling fans in their own right, I don't disrespect them. But you go ahead and you call me out and look into my Facebook, look into my stuff as if you're interested in my life in every way possible. And I'm asking myself, does this guy even have a life? Does he even know what the fuck's going on? You don't, do you? Let me kind of explain to you the significance behind this whole main event talk. Not just this episode, but everything else I've done. You see, when I started doing this, about a couple of years ago, this was a different outburst for me, all right? I used to do something called the Main Event Gazette a long time ago, and then I put it out to pasture. And then I wanted to try something a little different. I got this YouTube account. I wanted to go ahead and do a main event talk, and lo and behold, here it is. And since then, I don't got that many viewers that watch it, but they are all interested and all intrigued about what I have to say, whether it's about wrestling, whether it's about metal music, whether it's about anything that happens in Corpus Christi, or whether it's about my life. So yeah, I called you out and I put you in your place and everything else like that, but you kept coming at me no matter what. And then it all came down to this one comment. This one comment that changes everything. And what was this one comment? Here you are at some wrestling event trying to be a stinking reporter, which you hardly are. And then you go ahead and tell me, let me get this straight. You tell me to stop using the main event name and we're cool with each other. Really? You're going to tell me to stop using the main event name? You're going to tell me in front of every single person at WrestleBuds to not use the main event name. A name that I've had for well over 10 years. A name that I practically made in 2001. And a name I made official in 2003 when I was over hanging at a place called Equalize, hanging with a few friends named Free State, with Hector, Renee, and Saul involved, hanging with a best friend of mine named Roman, when I declared that the main event player name would be officially mine and no one was going to take it from me. And you tell me you stop using the main event name, we'll be cool with each other. Well, I got news for you. It's not going to happen. That's like Stone Cold Steve Austin being nice to the boss when he's going to kick his ass right in front of every single person at WWE. That's like The Rock not being the most electrifying man in all of entertainment, not calling anyone a candy ass, and not making fun of people. You know those things are not going to happen. And that's why afterwards I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and not only am I going to kick myself out of WrestleBuds, I'm going to kick you out. And that's what I did. I blocked you, I unfriended you, and I finished you off. And I realized that this shit is just going to keep continuing until I give in to your demands. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to give in to your demands. No one tells me to change my way of life and my main event